Okay, it's saying we're live. It's preparing the live stream here.
Okay.
Okay, we're live. My name is Annette. I am with COVID Recovery Iowa. We are a FEMA-funded program that's here to help all Iowans get through this pandemic, this ever-changing pandemic that we are currently still in. I am with Susan from the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. Thank you for coming and today and being online with us. So, can you just quickly tell us, well, not quickly, you can take as much time as you want. What is a food bank and how like the food bank gets its food and all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm Susan Intrikin. I am the community outreach manager here at the food bank, and I work with businesses and all sorts of things and volunteers. So I get to do quite a bit here at the food bank. When I'm explaining the difference between a food bank and like a food pantry, I kind of like to use the analogy of a bank. Like a bank, you put your money in. So a food bank, we bring in food from all different areas, and we'll talk about that. And it is housed here in Waterloo at the food bank here. It's a giant warehouse that we have. And we then all the different ways to access food are like your ATMs. So that could be any of the other nonprofit agencies that we work with, which could be nonprofit daycares to other food pantries. We are also one that houses a food pantry here on site that serves Blackhawk County, and that is the Cedar Valley Food Pantry. So that's another ATM or another way that you can access food. There's also there's 7 different programs outside of that we work with that are ways that you can access food. And we'll kind of get into that aspect of what it is. So a food bank kind of houses all the food and then helps distribute it out to those places that then distribute it on to the folks that need it the most, those in need.
Okay.
So what the difference between a food bank and a food pantry is. So here at the food bank, like I said, we run 8 programs out of here that help to distribute food to those in need. So as I said, one of the programs that we have is our Cedar Valley Food Pantry, and that is a pantry that serves Blackhawk County. And we typically serve about 3,500 households each month that can come through. So here you can come Monday through Thursday and get what we call as a distribution, your monthly distribution. The food pantry is meant to be a supplemental food thing for other people. So what we want to do is we don't want to be your only source of food, but we want to be able to fill in the blanks when we need it. So the people can come once a month and receive a distribution. And then on Fridays, we have what's called our produce and perishable food pantry. And so that is like those items that you go through weekly, and people can come weekly and receive that. And that's like your milk, your cheeses, your fresh produce, your fresh perishable food items, meats, all of those kind of things. So people can come, even if you've already come and gotten your one distribution of the month, you can come every Friday and receive that. So that's what we do there. We also, as I mentioned before this, we were talking about how we partner with 168 other nonprofits in our 16 counties that we operate in. So what that means is all those different food pantries that might be in different areas, like in Waverly or any of those outlying counties that we serve, if there's a nonprofit out there that serves food, chances are we probably partner with them, and they can then go online and order from our warehouse. And we can pick the order for them, and it is either delivered to the agency or they can come and pick it up. We also have what's called agency shopping. So if an agency like a community meal site wants to come in and get all the fixings for like a spaghetti meal that they're going to be doing, they can come in and shop through our agency shopping and just do it that way too. We also have 3 programs that focus solely on feeding kids. One of those programs is the backpack program, and the backpack program serves about 2,700 backpack bags every week that go out to the 158 schools that we partner with.
And that's in the whole 16 counties?
In the whole 16 counties.
Okay.
So what that is it's 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and some snacks. And it's all kid-friendly, shelf-stable. So we can pack it ahead of time, and then we distribute it through the schools on Fridays. So what it's designed to is just to go into kids' backpacks. So it's just a grocery sack full of food that goes into kids' backpacks, and they take it home and they have it for the weekend. We also have Kids Cafe and summer feeding programs. We are blessed enough to have a commercial kitchen on site here. And so we are able to make fresh food, hot meals that go out to some of those after school programs, like at the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCAs, any place where kids gather after school for after school care. We provide a hot meal that then we make it here at the food bank and then we deliver it, and kids get to have a hot meal before they head home. We do the same thing, and that's Kids Cafe. We also do it in the summertime, same type of thing at some of those our school day programs, any of those kind of stuff. We do the same thing with lunches. So it's just another way to make sure that kiddos are getting good, nutritious food, either before they go home, for the after school programs, or sometimes during the day when moms and dads and stuff like that are working. So those 3 programs are kind of a big portion of what we do here too. With we also do what's called our mobile food pantries. So our mobile food pantry, we have 13 of those that go out into our rural counties. And it's kind of in those underserved areas. And sometimes it's in those areas where it might be 20 or 30 miles to the nearest grocery store, which creates a huge barrier for people that are struggling with food insecurity. It costs money to get there, and then it costs money to buy the food. So we take our trucks out there and we work with community members who then help to run the food and distribute the food out. So we do that. We also have an elderly nutrition program. We work with different agencies like the Area on Aging and all those areas to distribute food boxes to the elderly or to the homebound, just to make sure that they are getting the food that they need also. We are also lucky enough to have a 1/4 acre community garden here on site. And what that does for us is that provides about almost between 5,000 and 6,000 pounds of fresh produce that we are able to then put right on out into our Cedar Valley Food Pantry or out into the mobiles. And it's also just a way that we can, kind of engage the community and talk to the community about healthy eating and all the different kinds of foods that you can grow. We talk about foods that you can grow in a pot, whether it be like just some tomatoes or stuff like that on the deck, and just talking about how fresh produce can really help. And that is just a huge portion of what we kind of do here. So I think I got all 8 for you. If not,
that was a lot. Wow. Yeah. I didn't realize you had all of that stuff available.
Yeah, we do quite a bit around here.
And we talked about so you're the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. So you kind of take care of Northeast Iowa, these 16 counties here, but there's other ones throughout the state. So if you're not in this area where Susan and I are, there's a food bank in your area that serves your area. So just be aware of that there's several out there that take care of the entire state. Yep. Okay. So who qualifies for food? How do you qualify for food? Can people just walk in and get food, or how do they do that?
Yeah. Well, there's several different things that there's some misconceptions and myths about whether or not you qualify for food. We have a kind of a mantra here where if you're hungry and you need food, come, we're going to help you. We have what's called a TFAT form, which is through the USDA. And it is you can self-attest how much you make. We don't ask for people to prove how much they make or if they qualify with that. We ask that you come in and you self-attest what your need is, and then you get food. It's pretty straightforward. If you need help and you need food, we're going to help you. So there's no huge requirements. There's no huge hoops to have to jump through. We try to eliminate any barrier we possibly can that stands in the way.
So there's just going to be a few questions you're going to ask them before they can go get food.
Yeah. And none
you guys are open, you said Monday through Thursday for people to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's here at the Cedar Valley Food Pantry, Monday through Thursday. Yep.
Okay. So what kind of foods are available?
Oh, there's lots of foods. One of the things I like to talk about is that one of the things that we do here, it's called food rescue. So we go out and we have these routes that go out to all the Walmarts, Targets, Hy-Vees, Fairways, all of those places, and we rescue food. So we bring food back, especially those fresh perishable food items that maybe aren't selling. We bring it back here. It's donated to us, bring it back here, and then we are able to go through it and then put it right out through the Cedar Valley Food Pantry or through our mobile food pantries. About 5 or probably 6, 7 years ago, about 65% of what we gave out was probably those non-perishable food items, the canned goods, the pastas, the rices, the stuff that you can just see that's just kind of non-perishable that can sit for a little while. Now, because we're so focused on wanting to make sure that our clients receive the best kind of food, the most nutritious food to help in their overall health, about 65% of what we give out now is fresh produce and perishable food items.
Oh, wow.
You get a lot of fresh perishable food items. That can be vegetables that are grown in our garden during the garden season. We also partner with farmers markets, that we go out to the local farmers markets, and when farmers are done, when the whole farmers market is done, if there's leftover stuff, we offer a tax credit, and we have vans, and we go and we pick it up and pick up that food and bring it back. And then we make sure that we get that right back out to those in need.
I often wondered what those people did with all that food that didn't sell. So that's a great way of donating it. I didn't realize.
We have a lot of partnerships with that. So there's a lot of fresh produce, and it can be breads. I mean, we have a lot of bread that we go through that we are just always making sure we push out. Milks, we partner with local dairies like Hanson's Dairy, and we are able to get fresh milk. We work well with them. We are also working, with any of those local distribution sites like Target and all of those places, that if they maybe get a large load in of something and they don't need it, or they discard of it, get it, and we are able to go through it and make sure it's good stuff and put it right back out.
Awesome. So I have Mandy said she didn't know about that quarter acre garden. She thought that was way cool. And she wants to know, are there volunteer opportunities that go with that, or what other volunteers besides that do you have?
Oh my gosh. Volunteer opportunities for anything and everything here at the food bank. It takes about 60 volunteers a day to help us run at just total capacity. We average probably around 30 to 40. So we are always in need. There are several different ways that you can volunteer. One of them is with the community garden. Of course, that's probably more of an April through November type of thing. And we will have that up on our website where you can go in and you can sign up for those garden opportunities. And that's from planting to weeding to harvesting to the winter to anything and everything you could possibly think of in the garden. We do have a lot of raised beds out there. And so we try really hard to make it as accessible for everybody that might want to come in and help, and make it a little bit nicer on bodies so that you're not on the ground doing stuff. So that's one way we do it. We also, of course, always need help in the Cedar Valley Food Pantry, stocking shelves and helping clients, those kind of things. We also have just open shifts times where we are going through food, because we rely and we do so much food rescue. We always have to be going through food because our whole goal is to get it right back out the door as fast as possible. We always need help to go through food. Sometimes that's not always the most glamorous kind of thing in the world, and it's sometimes a little stinky, but it is such good food. And it's just, keeping food out of landfills is the heart of what a food bank, is designed for. And so we're always making sure that we keep as much food, we rescue it and get it out and make sure that people are able to get healthy, nutritious food. We also have lots of different food sorting from when we do food drives. People will hand in, canned goods or any of that kind of stuff. We then have to sort through that. So we need volunteers for that. We need a lot of volunteers to help with our deliveries on trucks and stuff. We have trucks, we need truck drivers, and we need riders. And that's kind of one of our areas where we're always low on. If anybody wants to, that's usually a little bit longer commitment of the day, but it is going out and doing exactly what food banking is, which is delivering food and making sure that people have access to food. So we're always in need of that. And all information can be found on our website at neifb.org, Northeast Iowa Food Bank. So .org under volunteers. You can always go in and volunteer and just kind of click around.
What else do you need? Like if I want to contribute, do I just contribute money? Can I contribute my leftover garden produce, or, how can I contribute to you?
Well, the good thing about us here at the food bank is we'll take anything and everything in any shape or form. If you want to host a food drive, if your company wants to host a food drive, we have ways to do that. You can work with Jared, who is our events manager here, and he can help get a food drive set up. Food drives are great. There are ways to give back. it's ways for us to kind of keep food coming in for that. Fund drives are also great because we work with large corporations and regional. We are able to buy food in bulk, and so it's a little bit cheaper. So for every $1 that is donated to us here at the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, we are able to provide up to 4 meals with that $1.
Wow.
So we are able to utilize money very well with that. So if people would like to give some, giving $10 helps provide 40 meals. So when you think of it that way, any amount of donation goes a long way, along with that canned food. And then there's always the volunteer opportunities. Coming in and just spending 2 hours and helping us out here is always a wonderful way to give back. And as far as like the food with like garden produce and all of that stuff, we do take that. Of course, we ask that it's in good shape and, any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we do take that.
So they can just give you a call or go on your website and find out information about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to put out there? We are at our 15 minutes here. So anything else we haven't talked about that you thought of?
One of the things I always like to bring up too is that food insecurity and hunger discriminate against anything. It can hit anybody. And in Northeast Iowa, there are about 35, I'm looking at my notes, about 35,000 food insecure individuals in this area. So
35,000.
35,000.
In just Northeast Iowa.
In just Northeast Iowa. There's a lot of our neighbors out there. Hunger is one of those things that is not always the easiest to spot, but it is happening. And I think my biggest thing is just to remember that there are those around you that are hungry. And even though it's not something that is always easy to just pinpoint and to see, hunger is out there. And we work really hard. We would like to be able to end hunger in our area. So we would appreciate, from donations to volunteerism. We want to work together with communities to end hunger in our area.
Awesome. I will put a link in the comments when we're done to your website. I'll put in your phone number too, so people can get connected up with you. And remember, if you're not in Northeast Iowa where we are, there are food banks throughout the state that have these same opportunities out there. So thank you, Susan, for joining us.
Thank you.
And if anybody else has any questions, put them in the comments and we can get back to you with the answers to those. So thanks for joining us today, Susan.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.